What in the world had they constructed? That was all I could manage to say when I first laid eyes on the ostentatious estate rising up from the 900-acre ranch I'd just inherited. The Willow Creek Homeowners Association had brushed me off as some city slicker drifting back to his roots, and they'd unlawfully claimed the land. They'd figured this weathered old spread was abandoned, ripe for the taking. But that immovable multimillion-dollar structure had now become a prisoner of their own hubris. I wasn't just seeking justice. I was going to make them pay in the most mortifying way imaginable. How long do you suppose this rental arrangement will hold? Stick around for this account of reclaimed honor. The deep growl of a diesel engine pierced the quiet afternoon in the Montana hills. A white and purple FedEx truck bounced along the gravel drive, stirring up dust that blanketed the old cottonwood trees bordering the path. The driver stepped out, holding a stiff red and orange envelope marked priority overnight. He eyed the sagging wooden beams of my porch, finally settling on me. A man in a creaky rocking chair, clad in a worn plaid shirt and dirt-crusted boots. To him, I looked like a down-on-his-luck rancher hanging onto a fading legacy. He couldn't have been more mistaken about who held the upper hand. I signed the digital pad, took the envelope, and waited until the truck vanished over the pine-covered ridge before tearing it open. With a rough thumb, I ripped the seal, pulling out a crisp laser-printed letter and a high-security bank check that gleamed in the waning sunlight. The golden hour rays filtered through the branches, highlighting the embossed figures on the paper, $12,500. I traced the raised ink, savoring the feel of triumph, before glancing at the memo line. The words were crisp and impersonal. October land lease payment, the Estate Community Center. I let out a brief, raspy laugh and set the check on the scarred wooden table beside my cold black coffee. The irony was stark. On one side, a symbol of affluent precision. On the other, the crumbling table of a ranch teetering on the edge. Yet it was this battered table that commanded the check. The Willow Creek Homeowners Association, the folks who'd once regarded me as scum under their shiny dress shoes, were now compensating me to preserve their emblem of prestige. My phone buzzed sharply against the wood. The screen showed a name that, 6 months earlier, would have twisted my gut with dread, but now only stirred a twinge of sympathy. Susan Reynolds. She rang with such precision that I imagined she'd monitored the courier's GPS. I let it chime 3 times, sipped the bitter brew, then leisurely swiped to answer, switching to speaker. "I've got it, Susan," I said, my tone as even as chatting about the forecast. On the other end, her breathing was sharp and measured. Her voice, typically polished with the airs of upscale suburbia, cracked with strain. "Good," she snapped, the signal fuzzy from the remote location. "But don't expect us to ship it priority every month. The fees alone exceed your shack's power bill." I grinned, eyes on the payment. "Feel free to use regular mail, Susan. I'm not in a hurry," I replied, threading sweetness with steel. "But I'd advise reviewing Clause 7, Section C of the settlement. Since the electronic gate for the estate is on the leased plot, its power runs through my panel. If the funds don't clear by 5 p.m. on the 5th, the landlord can cut utilities to the leased area. Care to tell 200 families why they can't access their center on a Saturday?" The line fell utterly silent, not bewilderment, but the hush of a woman biting back a yell. I heard the faint snap of a pen being fidgeted, her telltale habit. She knew I was spot on. The gate mechanisms were mine to control, built on my dirt. "You're a heartless man," Susan finally said. Her tone had morphed. The biting edge was gulped down, swapped for a forced civility that sounded excruciating. She was yielding to the facts. "We created this community with passion. We transformed this barren spot into an oasis. I'm not exploiting, Susan. I'm reaping." I cut in, shedding the courtesy. "And spare me the passion talk. Discuss carelessness. Discuss how you and your board skimped on an independent surveyor to pinch pennies. You erected a $4.5 million edifice on another's turf. You bet the clueless rancher wouldn't catch on. You lost. This check isn't a handout. It's rent. Know your role." I hung up without awaiting a comeback. The tone echoed across the vast ranch. I held the check to the fading light. This would re-roof the barn leaking since winter. Next month's would repurchase the breeding cattle I'd sold to fund the legal probe. Their folly's cash would revive my family's heritage. I rose and stepped to the porch's edge, gazing north. 2 miles off, beyond rolling dry grass hills and ancient cottonwoods, loomed the estate. From afar, its slate roof and immaculate white walls caught the sunset. It resembled a fairy tale manor, jarringly elegant amid Montana's raw terrain. It was stunning, opulent, and reeked of wealth. And every inch of its concrete base rested firmly on my ground. 6 months back, they'd vowed to drown me in court costs. But once the independent survey verified the intrusion, the tables turned swiftly. They stared down a judicial demolition that'd bankrupt the group and tank home values. The 99-year lease wasn't a joint venture. It was a court-enforced pact from a judge who saw their indefensible position. They picked payment over ruin. I pocketed the check against my chest, over my heartbeat. Balance was restored. They dwelled in luxury's facade, but I inhabited ownership's truth. As long as that building endured, they'd owe me. Yet as I turned indoors, a notion halted me. Susan's phone resignation seemed too polished. The pivot from rage to victim felt scripted. A climber to the helm of the region's richest HOA via ruthless tactics wouldn't fold so neatly. She was scheming. I recalled a call detail, background thuds of stacked files. She wasn't merely noting dates. She was assembling a counter. Susan sought a lease loophole to nullify it and salvage her pride. But she didn't know I held another ace, hidden deep under that estate's foundation, unseen on surveys. The contest was ongoing, and if she dug, she'd strike more than soil. To grasp the weight of this pocketed check, recall the ranch's silence 6 months prior. Not library calm, but abandonment's oppressive void. I'd just laid my grandfather, Henry T. Whitaker, to rest, a man who devoted 80 years to this earth, the final 5 lost to dementia's cruel haze. I was the lone inheritor of the Whispering Pines Ranch, a 900-acre expanse once the county's pride, now barely wired together with grit. The estate lawyer handed me a hefty binder and keys that weighed heavy. He offered sympathies, but his gaze echoed the town's whisper. The urban returnee will flip this to builders before first snow. I spent week 1 mapping my bequest. 900 acres is paper abstract, but ground reality is immense. Childhood pastures were thistle-choked. Barns tilted windward. Then the northern triangle, split by limestone ridge and intermittent stream. Grandpa dubbed it the Forgotten Fields. Rugged, vehicle-unfriendly, left to wildlife. In his heyday, he'd check fences monthly on horseback. In decline, it had likely gone untouched for years. Prime oversight spot. On discovery morning, I loaded bolt cutters, map, and coffee thermos into the ranch's vintage Ford pickup. It reeked of aged oil and damp fur, evoking potent nostalgia. I traversed rutted tracks, suspension protesting on shale. It took 45 minutes to summit the ridge overlooking forgotten fields. Cresting, I anticipated sage and stray livestock. Instead, brakes slammed, trucks skidding in dust. I rubbed my eyes, blaming fatigue and sorrow for illusions. In the valley, where wilderness should have reigned, sat a mansion. Not a home, a lavish colonial compound airdropped from upscale East Coast enclaves into Montana wilds. Manicured lawns defied drought. White arbors draped in vines. A vast pool's blue contrasted earth tones. Centered, a 3-story hub with columns and grand entry. A gilded sign at paved drive's end, cutting my fence, proclaimed, "Estate, the height of community living." Brain reeling, I snatched the laminated map. Topo lines, GPS, no error. Ridge as marker, stream as divide. That edifice wasn't adjacent. It encroached acres deep. I downshifted, heart pounding with icy wrath. Details sharpened. Tennis court on pheasant grounds, playground on arrowhead sites. I halted at asphalt's edge, tires marking their pristine surface brown. Stepping out, door slam echoed like gunfire. A golf cart zipped from hedges. A burly young guard in tactical garb leaped out, hand near belt, radio only, but authoritative. "Sir, no parking here," he barked. "Private property, members only. Turn that rust bucket around now." I eyed him, then his footing. "Private property? Correct, but wrong owner. I'm not repeating. Zero tolerance for intruders. This is Willow Creek HOA. Leave or sheriff's called. Call him. Tell him bring a surveyor." Before response, a sleek black BMW SUV glided up, window humming down. First glimpse of Susan Reynolds. She didn't seem villainous, a living realtor ad. Blonde hair, helmet perfect, blazer pricier than my truck, sunglasses perched disdainfully. She scanned me, lingering on boots with contempt. "Issue, Mike?" she asked the guard, eyes fixed on me. "Trespasser, Ms. Reynolds," Mike puffed. "Claims ownership." About to escort him. Susan laughed dismissively, removing shades to reveal calculating eyes, warmth absent. "You must be the grandson," she stated. "Heard the old-timer passed. Condolences, I guess." "Who are you?" I demanded, resisting urge to gesture wildly. "Susan Reynolds, president of Willow Creek Homeowners Association." She leaned on door. "And you're trespassing on our center grounds. Get in your truck and head back to the city before harassment charges." "Harassment? You planted a palace on my legacy. I have deeds, maps. You're inside Whispering Pines Ranch." Susan sighed theatrically, like explaining basics to a child. She exited, short but exuding untouchable assurance. She smelled of luxury, scent, and entitlement. "This confuses you. You've been away, but land shifts." "Not this border." My voice quivered angrily. "Grandpa never sold an inch. Vowed death first before developers touched it." Susan's face twisted into a sly smile. "Your grandfather," she murmured, "was elderly. Frankly, near the end, he couldn't recall the day. Confused, isolated, forgetful." She paused meaningfully. "We resolved this years ago," voice silky. "Permits, title insurance, fence established 3 years. Your neglect doesn't reclaim it." A chill knotted my stomach. Her certainty was rock solid. Could she be truthful? "Last visit, Grandpa called me by Dad's name, asked for his long-dead wife. Possible he'd signed invulnerability? These vultures preyed when alone." "I don't buy it," I said, conviction cracking. "Beliefs irrelevant." Susan checked watch. "Law rules, and law says this is Willow Creek. I have a meeting in tenant side. Leave or handcuffs await. Review files, face facts." She turned to Mike. "If not gone in 2, call police." Note plate. Heels clicked away. She owned the arena. I stood, sun-scorching neck. Structure seemed eternal, kids splashing, gardeners clipping. My truck ephemeral. I climbed in, hands shaking, engine sputtering. Backing up, mud splattered their drive. Mike smirked, radio ready. Adrenaline ebbed on ridge ascent, eyes stinging. But a resolve rooted. Grandpa's old voice, pre-illness. "Selling land sells freedom, boy. Never let him take your soil." Susan had sown doubt with my absence and his ailment. But she'd cited permits, insurance, fences, never deed. I floored it. Not to city, to county clerk. Time to uncover their game with my forgotten fields. The retaliation kicked off not with litigation, but a whisper war deadlier than filings. Susan Reynolds' new land battles hinged on opinion first. She didn't need to disprove me, just paint me perilous. 2 days post-driveway clash, a cream envelope arrived via Grim process server, tossed like poison. Return, Brooks & Ellis, priciest firm in state capital. Inside, cease and desist on thick stock, jargon laden to intimidate. Accused me of trespass, resident harassment, family hostility. Demanded 500-foot distance from Willow Creek Estate. Classic bully play, bury the underdog in legalese. But True Blade was online narrative. I'm not social media savvy, ranch life analog. But neighbor Mrs. Harlan, 3 miles down, retirement glued to county chatter, brought her tablet next morning, worried. Screen, Willow Creek Neighbors Facebook group. Susan's pinned post, 300+ likes, 200 comments. Security alert. Unstable man claiming clubhouse ownership. Report Rusty Blue Ford near North Border. Protect our kids. Comments. Venomous fear, elitism. Jail demands, mocks of my look, clothes, even Grandpa's dementia as inherited madness. I returned the tablet, hands steady, jaw tight. They weren't stealing land, erasing my personhood. Targeting me, so crushing me drew cheers. Right. Shift overnight. Hardware owner averted eyes. As I left, HOA stickered Lexus slowed. Driver spat near boots, sped off. Isolation tactic to drive me out. Then law. Thursday, Sheriff Cruiser up drive. Deputy Collins, high school teammate, unsmiling, thumbs in vest. Folks at Willow Creek jittery. Friendly heads up. I explained fence check. He interrupted. Clear. If another harassment call, disorderly conduct arrest. Stay Creekside, let lawyers sort. Message, enforcement serve taxpayers, not truth. Evening porch, sunset over estate roof. Lights flickered, music wafted. They partied, reveling dominance. Loneliness profound, one versus hundreds. No funds for elite defense, no clout. The deranged drifter in rusty truck. Final strategy piece arrived Friday, certified mail. Expected suit, got settlement offer and boundary adjustment agreement. Kitchen table, single bulb, dense verbiage, core, $5,000 for quitclaim on 1.2 acres, restraining order, NDA. $5,000, an affront, barely a tractor. But clarity struck, why offer anything? If confident in fence, insurance, why pay? Victor's arrest or sue trespassers. Offer signaled fear. Smears, posts, deputy, all bluff to make $5,000 lifeline. Buy millions worth for sedan price. Agreement's urgency, 48-hour deadline, desperation. No deed. Built on gamble grandpa dies unnoticed. Now here, terror. Estate lights blazed. Susan likely toasting, handling it. Thought me cowering, ready to sign pain away. Wrong. Desk, fresh pad. Not response, offensive blueprint. Original 1950 survey map, grandpa's relic. Unearth iron pins, prove fence lie. Audit decades taxes, who paid for dirt. Battle plan. Done victim. If paperwork war, I'd wage with history's truth. I'd $5,000 check. Lighter from drawer, flamed corner. Burned to ashen sink. They deemed it fortune to pauper. About to learn dignity unsellable, land priceless beyond budget. 48 hours lapse sans call or email. Silence let them deem me paralyzed, staring at some. Pride versus need. Wrong. Ash-check moment cleared fog, birth forensic precision. Arguing online or with biased law useless. Dismantle connected structure needed ironclad data to strangle legal team pre-court. First, surveyor. Locals developer tied, risked errors, favoring quo. Looked west. Sold grandpa's antique Colt pistols, gut-wrenching, but $4,000 cash. Hired Summit Surveys, Idaho-based, 300 miles. Senior. Samuel, 40 years BLM disputes. Wanted forensic 1950 plat rebuild. Samuel arrived pre-dawn Tuesday, unmarked truck, evading patrols. Ridge control, 1962 brass cap, bedrock benchmark. 6 hours, cross-referenced GPS, physical markers, bush hacked, sediment dug. 10 a.m. breakthrough, valley, near hedges. Magnetic locator shrieked under hydrangeas. Dug, rusted iron rod, Eisenhower era. Laser back, line sliced pooled deep end, patio, guest suite. Not over line, Samuel packed. Built in your yard. 1.24 acres. Planted over pin, they knew. Physical proof, gun chamber. Needed malice bullet. Law. Honest error equals easement cheap. Willful equals demolition. Afternoon. County archives, dust musty basement. Not deed. Permit jacket for 3-year-old construction. Clerk handed file post fee. Corner, fluorescence, photographed all. Permit standard, site control, smoking gun, consent to encroach, affidavit, 3 years old. Claimed verbal/written permission from Henry T. Whitaker pending sale. Signature, his name, dated August 12, 2021. Heart raced loss? But date, phone medical records. August 10, 2021. Massive stroke, airlifted Billings, induced coma 3 weeks. Couldn't sign. Signature forgery, shaky mimic, but T, loop wrong. Grandpa cross tops. Deeper, red ink sticky note on survey report, Whitaker unavailable. St. Mary's contact says prognosis grim. No delay. Schedule be vital. Retro easement if estate contests. SR, Susan Reynolds. Adrenaline surged. Criminal fraud. New hospital, pushed schedule over law. Exploited dying man. Photos, forgery, records, note. Could go sheriff, news, handcuff Susan. Tempting instant win. But paused. Public now, she'd blame contractor. Deny note or twist. Years criminal court, insurance covers, drag me bankrupt. No blunt charge. Needed scalpel. Not punish, bind. Turn asset mine. Trap, double down publicly, shatter on truth reveal. Packed evidence, certified copies, exited courthouse son. Past estate entrance. Mike sneered. I smiled, predator knowing role outcome. Home war room. Binders, survey, medical, fraud, and safe. Hardest, waited. HOA annual meeting 2 weeks. Public, board boasts, re-elects. Stage where Susan's safest, admirers around. I'd enter with projector, PDF. Days, play broken. Lawn overgrown, truck hidden, looked abandoned. Told Mrs. Harlan considering options, despondent. Rumor to Susan, breaking. Competence not just data, timing weapon. Estate no building, cash machine. Waited to open register. War art, Grandpa said pre-betrayal, not biggest gun, narrative control. I'd let Susan script, benevolent guardian versus chaotic threat. Twist, pivot villain to loser. Villain resists, loser yields. If broken, destitute, fleeing city, guard drops. Speak as conqueror. 3 days curated defeat, unshaven, stained shirt. Parked publicly at pawn shop, carried TV, gossip fodder to board. Wednesday, called Susan direct, from cease-desist email. Voice low, hesitant, stripped confidence. I'm weary. Sheriff's too much. Can't fight big group. Want resolve boundary mix-up, sell ranch, move on. Her silence smug. No empathy, time slot. 2 p.m., estate office. Bring deed. Notary ready for transfer. Bait taken. Thought surrender right. Unaware, recording invite. Arrived 1:55. Crossing line, laser marked. Felt board step, dice mine. Parked rusty Ford amid luxury cars, stark contrast. Grand stairs, battered folder, smartphone taped inside, hi-fi audio. Head down, slumped, beaten act. Mike opened door smirking, relishing tail tucked knee. Mumbled thanks, entered opulence, lemongrass, wax scent. Vaulted ceilings, chandeliers costlier than heard. Glass wall, mom's iced tea, toddler's splash, retiree's bridge, laughing. Idle on fraud foundation. Resolve flickered, not evil, trusting board followed rules. Detonating, sanctuary to sight. Pool concrete filled, lobby boarded. Destroy happiness to punish one. Pushed aside. Justice blunt. Susan in founder's room, mahogany, view my land. At head, flanked by gray-suited lawyer, board. Sit. She gestured far end. No water, handshake. Slid document. Quitclaim deed. Relinquishes 1.2 acres claim. Generously, $50,000, 10 times scrub value. Walk away. Sign, check, gone. Picked up, feigned read, hands tremble. $50,000, whispered Mike clear. Helps debts. Look pathetic. But Susan, before sign, Grandpa really signed permission? Remember him sick then. Trap, confirm lie on tape. Admit forgery equals got her, indifference equals better. Susan leaned, arrogant, safe in castle, peasant defeated. Look, veneer dropped. Confused old man. Verbal yes months prior. Paper formality for deadline. Rushed? Maybe. Improved his land value too. Thank us. Without us, ranch dirt, weeds. Paused, kill. New paper messy. New unavailable, but schedule kept. Business, build plane flying. Sign or cry history. There, negligence. Admitted messy, unavailable, incapacitated, proceeded for timeline. Civil court, bad faith, veil pierced. Look document. $50,000 lot to pretend me. Insult to real. Pocket fame pen search. Susan eyed, victory gleam. I can't, place down. Excuse, smile vanished. Can't sign. $50,000 insufficient. Susan slammed table. No haggle. Charity. Walk, offer zero. Sue harassment, drain till ranch loss. Sign. No. Closed folder stood. Room shift. Susan confused, furious. Lawyer alert. Mistake, lawyer flat. No better. We'll see. Turned, left. No glance Susan. Had quarry. Admission recorded. Walk felt different. Adrenaline fade, gut gnaw. Families again. Teen coaching sibling tennis, elders coffee laugh. Paid fortunes for secure homes. Dues paid. Rules followed. Evidence, survey, forgery, tape, forced demolition. Encroachment big, bad faith clear. Catastrophic. Months dust, Noise, paradise war zone. Values crash, assessments soar. Innocents suffer. I'd burn village for mayor? Truck seat, dashboard stare. Recording nuke. Press equals Susan destroyed, fallout taints all. Another way? Punish guilty sans innocent? Assert right sans monster? Estate, revenue machine. Asset, business, build on land. Sometimes acquire versus demolish. Idea flickered, rent. Why raise when own? Stay my terms. Demand demolition equals villain. Demand rent equals businessman. Lease aggressive, one-sided. Perpetual punishment Susan, residence uninterrupted. Keep pool, courts, but usage pays me. Susan enters building she pays to use. Perfect, ethical fix. Residence secure, dispute settled. But budget drained. Susan's legacy, indenturer to rancher. Humiliation monthly. Engine started. Loser gone, landlord drove. Draft lease, not suit. 99-year, sharp blush terms. Calculate footage, pain premium. Present publicly, not mail. 2 weeks to Montana's costliest rental pre-meeting. Trap not lie catch, payment lock. Willow Creek annual general meeting in estate grand ballroom, illegal soil. Tuesday night. Perfume, coffee, tension thick. 200 chairs semicircle, stage screen, HOA logo, creek through hills. Arrived 15 late. Room full, proceedings on. Main doors thud open, conversation severed. Dress changed, no ragged plaid. Charcoal suit, crisp shirt, bruised blue tie. Slim laptop, cable. Silence total. Heads turned, whispers died. Mrs. Harlan hand to mouth. Mike advanced, halted by my corporate lethal gaze. Not crashing, foreclosing. Susan at podium, spotlighted, froze midward, hand over water. Mask slipped, terror. Survivor, blinked, forced smile. Folks, Mike boomed. Unexpected visitor. Neighbor rancher joins. Nervous chuckles, feeble. Rumors known, unstable. But I looked poised, dangerous. Here to accept settlement? Susan framed as yield. Walked aisle, shoes clicking marble. Stopped 5 feet stage, looked up. Not accept, Susan, projected ranch call voice. Not private. Bylaws Section 4, Article 2. Community facility meetings open to owners. I own beneath your feet. I have floor. Gasp, first public utterance. Susan gripped podium, knuckles white. Lawyer Edward Hayes front row stood. Objection. Private. Trespassing. Mike, remove. If Mike touches, assault charges him. Vicarious liability, every payer here. Want personal suits cause Susan fears PDF. Mike froze. Residents murmured, eyes fearful. No suits wanted. Hayes hesitated. I'd Susan. 5 minutes, Susan. Weeks calling me crazy predator. If true, let's speak. Proof. Unless laptop scares. Trap. Refuse equals guilty weak. Agree equals ambush. Crowd doubt. Must quash now or lose forever. Fine. Spat. Stepped aside, mic on. Cable him. See rancher's fabrication. 5 minutes. Then leave or sheriff. Stage. Hayes reluctant HDMI. Screen flickered, logo gone. High-def satellite valley. 6 months ago, addressed audience, not Susan. Inherited whispering pines. Told by president. Estate legal, grandpa blessed. Told greedy extortionist. Click. Red laser line through pool. Hub. Last week's summit surveys, federal contractor. Red, 1950 boundary. Building inside 1.24 acres my property. Map wrong. Susan yelled. Our surveyors. Fake. Is? Why $50,000 quitclaim last week? If yours, why pay? Whispers erupted. Susan flinched. Click. Affidavit. Susan claims grandpa signed August 12, 2021. Voice colder. Problem. Split screen. Affidavit shaky sign left. St. Mary's report right. August 10th. Stroke, coma. Couldn't sign. Silence horror. Not dispute. Abuse, fraud. Front row woman mouth covered, teary. He agreed verbal pre. Susan stammered, polish gone. Paper memorializing. Didn't know dates. Builders, not medics. Didn't know? Trap set. Claim good faith. No incapacity awareness. Absolutely. Tragic timing. Wouldn't proceed if known compromised. Hoped you'd say. Spacebar. Black, then blown up sticky. Read aloud. Whitaker unavailable. St. Mary's contact. Prognosis grim. No delay. Schedule be vital. Retro easement if estate contests. SR. Gasp oxygen sucking. Proof malice. Bet on death. Rushed poor. Susan mouth agape. Wordless. Hayes face in hands. Residents stood, shouting, no. Title clean lie. I protected investment. Susan screamed, shattered. For you, values. Stop equals lost finance. Now lost land. I boomed. Reality tonight. Click. Demolition crane image. Law. Willful encroachment equals mandatory injunction. File tomorrow. Pool dirt filled. Hub raised. Land pasture. $1 million cost. Build association. $5,000 per household assessment. Pandemonium. Shouts. Cries. Lost threat. Bill. Mob turned Susan. Ruined us. Resign. Panic simmer 30 seconds. Visualize dozers. Then shift, however, closer stage. Not vandal. Rancher. Manage assets. Quiet. Lifeline desperate. Looked savior, not villain. No desire destroy clubhouse. Beautiful, serves families. Don't want rubble my land. What want? Mrs. Harlan trembled. Legalize. Propose save estate. Pool. No demolition. 99-year lease 1.2 acres. Relief sci physical. Thought off hook. But, not charity. Business. Susan Fawn market value. Use, but commercial developed. Slide. Contract summary. Tenant. Willow Creek HOA. Landlord. Whispering Pines. 99 years. $12,500 monthly. 5% annual rise. Condition. Current president resign. $12,500. Front row sputter. Outrageous. Rent. Cold. Less than demolition suit. Rebuild elsewhere. Price keep pool open weekend. I'd Susan, trembling. Choices. Keep Susan. I filed demolition 9 a.m. Or Susan resigns now. Sign lease. Lives resume. Building stays. You tenants. Me landlord. Unplugged. Screen black. Lease here. Thick document. Thud table. Parking lot 10 minutes. No sign. Called dozers. Walked off measured. No run. Past Hayes, Mike aisle. Silence, awe, not fear. Doors shut, heard. Out her. Sign. Lied, Susan. Mob turned. Queen fallen. Wouldn't wait 10. Doors burst. Hayes running. Pin out. Career saving desperate. Chaos to sterile silence jarring. 10 minutes prior. Mob 200 ready rip leadership. Now across mahogany. Same $50,000 offer spot. Power flipped. Air heavy. Sweat. Defeat. Opposite. Susan pale. Eyes wood fixed. Edward Hayes glasses wiping. Dr. Benson. VP. Self-diagnosing attack. Alone. Folder open. Lease weapon center. Silence worked. First speaker loses. They lost all. Hayes broke. Throat clear wet. Mr. Whitaker. Board acknowledges survey. 1950 irregularities. But $12,500 monthly steep. Above county rate. Neighborly. $3,000. Covers taxes. Profit. No smile. Leaned. Hands clasped. Valuation error. Mr. Hayes. Not land lease. Pasture grazing. $3,000 generous. But leasing hostage. Finger window lit pool. Leasing no fraud suit. Silence DA on forged sign. Write no $1 million demolition next week. Price $12,500. Non-negotiable. Haggling. Add inflation clause. Dr. Benson flushed. Bankrupt's reserves. Raise dues. Residents furious. Tell $50 more monthly to rancher. Lynch us. Leadership issue. Doctor, not landlord. Truth. Penalty board negligence. Or resign. Let others sign. Refuse. Offer gone. Dozers Monday. Board raises fees or destroys center. Logic trap. No out. Refuse. Asset destruction. Fraud liability. Value collapse. Accept. Freedom kept, but financial servant century. Chose servitude. Fine. Susan whispered brittle. First words. Sign, but clause. NDA. Sticky note buried. No. Transparency price. No authorities report if rent current. Concession. No NDA. Residents deserve why paying. Lease public, county filed. Ensures no greed spin later. Susan eyed Hayes. He shook no leverage. Slumped, defeated. Where's sign? Not yet. Page 4. Enforcement review. Drafted myself. Understand. No misunderstandings like grandpa. Finger text. Clause 7. Gate system. Survey. Entrance. Box on my land. Late payment by 5 p.m. 5th. Cut power. Gate locks closed. No in/out. Automatic. Dr. Benson wiped sweat. Lock members out club. Lock trespassers my property. Corrected. Clause 8. Ownership acknowledgement. Check with signed statement president. Whispering Pines sole owner. Blocks adverse possession. Tenants forever. Final page. Clause 9. 5% annual compound rise. Asset appreciates like homes. Luxury built. Luxury pay. Silence. Surrender terms read. Brutal pen violence. Hayes fountain pen, hovered. Susan, still president till adjourn. Sign. Stared pen. Legacy. Visionary to Holloway lease signer. Admitting failure. Binding century. Hand trembled, scratched loud. Susan Reynolds, president. Pushed to Benson witness. Hayes notarized, stamp gavel thump. Done. Hayes closed book. First check now. Leather binder. Wrote $12,500. Tore, slid. Picked up. Light, skyscraper heavy. Memo blank. Slid back. Fill it. Right. Land lease payment. The estate. Wrote, slid. Thanks. Folded, pocketed by grandpa photo. Stood. Tell residents pool open, demolition off. Susan, resign, they wait. Door opened. Ballroom noise rushed. Anxious murmur. Bypassed, no gloat. Lease filed, check pocketed. Forgotten Fields highest yield Montana acres. Mike by truck, unsure. Heard shouts, unknown outcome. Hand twitched. Everything okay, sir? Shift sensed. Fine, Mike. Unlocked. Open gate. Need president off. Landlord Mike. Invoke clause 7 now. Cut shack power. Open gate. Swallowed, I'd estate me. World changed. Booth. Button. Gates hummed open. Drove through, crunching proud asphalt. Rear view. Estate glowed, less invading, asset. $4.5 million dairy cow, milk lifelong. Drive home quiet. Adrenaline fade. Good exhaustion. Fence mended, herd rounded. Pulled dark house. Porch estate contrast no sting. Kitchen bulb, check on table, $12,500. More than grandpa's peak year, monthly repeat. Thought, absolute victory breeds danger. Susan Dunn, but HOA 200 wealthy, tenants on playground. Pay, but resent. No crazy neighbor, greedy landlord. Wealthy hate subservience. Check target. Used to fortify, not roof only. Resentment 99 year. Fridge beer, porch rocker, same as FedEx day. Circle complete, upward. Sip, north gaze. Estate lights dimmer, less imposing, my property. Eyes closed, wind trees. Not sell, rent. Mechanism locked, trap sprung. But act remained. Queen's fall, order restore. Needed aftermath. Susan exit not president, cautionary. Ensure community new charge. First heavy December snow Tuesday morning, dusting peaks white. Mailbox end drive, postal jeep retreated. Left plain envelope, no priority, mundane. Open cold, breath steam. Check $12,500, Willow Creek stock. Clipped, compliance letter, Dr. Benson interim. Enclosed monthly lease for center parcel. Association acknowledges Whispering Pines sole fee simple owner. Boring, bureaucratic, ideal. If tracked from spark to resolution, ponder. Quiet financial rhythm more satisfying than demolition crash. Standing snow silence. Realized power not noise. New reality others live. Susan Reynolds reality nightmare self-made. Meeting resignation opener. Force sign stripped competence illusion. Residents. Rent hike and assessment furious. Demanded answers. New board. Distancing. Forensic audit construction funds. Sought mismanagement explained boundary. Found uglier. Fees to Nevada Shell. Co-owned Susan's spouse. Contractor rushed. Poor not schedule. Kickbacks to president. News bombed. Sneerer at boots. Transient caller now investigated embezzlement. Fraud. HOA suing damages recoup my rent. Watched distant. Not glee. Equation balance satisfaction. No testify. Interviews. Cash checks. System she weaponized. Law. Hierarchy. Money. Devoured her. Mrs. Harlan. Susan House Market. For sale in once respected lawn. Not selling. Word out. By where ex-president indicted. Dues up for neighbor rancher. Prison depreciating assets. Isolated by built community. Forgotten fields no more. Lease capital transformed whispering pines. No sports car. Vacation. Reinvest soil. Grandpa way. Crew re-roofed barn steel 50-year. Miles fence. Tinsel electric. Life back. 40 Angus heifers. Genetic strong. Grazed fallow pastures. Black on snow. Ranch not surviving rent. Fertilized. 20-year growth accelerated. Ranch estate true sod quiet. Residence pool. Tennis. But arrogance gone. No trespass signs down. Border lawn. Bronze plaque. Legal description. Leased grounds. Property of whispering pines. Fine print insist. Reminder guests. Saw them red. Glance cattle. Back hub. Shift palpable. Not valley masters. Bill paying neighbors. Afternoon drive ridge. Herd check. Same spot with Samuel. View stunning. Below. Estate chimney smoke. Lobby tree twinkled. Warm. But yards away my side. Cattle straw bedded. Cud chewing. Worlds side by side. Artificial luxury. Gritty ranch. Hierarchy corrected. Cattle not eyesore. Landlords. Estate tenant farm. Fees harvest pay owner. Priciest dairy cow. No grass eat. Perimeter guard new. Not Mike. Budget cut post hike. Saw truck rich. No radio. Glare. Wave respectful. Finger lift acknowledge. Gesture volumes. Hostility deference. New truck man could gate off. Quiet dominance. Unspoken felt. Drove sunset. Sky purple orange. House wood smoke coffee home. Check safe. Stack growing. Not saving. War chest. Challenge lease. Lobby zoning. Ready. Doubted. Broken. Not ruined. Tamed. Lesson. Can't pave history for schedule. Porch rocker. Will blanket. Silence profound. Not funeral lonely. Order peaceful. Fences mended. Bills paid. Predator ecosystem removed. Grandpa's voice. Strong youth. Hold soil, son. Soil endures. Right. Estate folk transient. Equity fluid. Come go. Susan move. Buyer take. But lease stays. Checks monthly. 99 years. Window reflection. No victim. City boy. Transient. Rancher. War sans bullet. Kingdom sans army. Drama over. Yelling done. Work left. Star over estate roof. Smiled. Good night, be landlord. What do you think about the themes of injustice and violence in everyday life, as reflected in this story? Share your opinions in the comments below. Take a stand and express your views. I'd love to hear how you'd handle a similar situation.